Welcome to Light Talk. For those that are new to the channel, my name is Jordan. This evening, our guest is Conman Kitty. Would you like to say hello to the audience, sir?
Hello, everybody.
So I was scrolling through TikTok one day and I stumbled upon his channel. And first video, he was talking about out-of-body experiences. And the deeper I didn't go through too much, but um, as I continue scrolling through videos, I definitely appreciate his thoughts on spirituality, and many topics that are, definitely big buzzwords, but, just don't quite resonate for me. So it was really cool to see all that. And he has some pretty cool music as well on his channel. But now, Mr. Conman Kitty, would you like to tell us more about yourself?
Oh yeah, well, I'm Conman Kitty, and I live in Colorado. Right? I, I'm, I love life. That's a hard. This is such a like, not. It's just an easy question, but it's really complex for me because I, I really am just being. I don't try to be nobody. I don't try to do it. I'm just being, and so it's hard for me to express how I am. You just got to experience me. That's really what that is. It's just is I've been spiritual all my life, and did all the research everywhere, and I will still have questions. There's still questions I haven't even answered yet that I would love that I'm gonna figure out eventually. Once I started doing the out of body thing, which is really recently. I I now I'll be able to answer questions that I can't find in physical books anymore. So I'm to that
Nice.
stage on my spirituality where I done answered everything I need to in this life, like from digging, and now it's time to like really put experience behind it. And so that's kind of the stage I am right now. I just found peace all of a sudden not too long ago, and it is just kind of like been life changing for me on that end.
It's amazing when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it just clicks one day.
Yep.
It just don't. It's not even something special. It's just like, oh, okay. This is you just kind of notice it.
Yep. And then it's a lot easier to be at that point as well, which
Yeah,
it's amazing how things start clicking into place at that point.
yeah, I do most
So,
definitely.
so I'm curious, man. Would you care to share more about the OBEs? What kind of brought you to that point? It looked like, you have a process you've been doing for a while, and then all of a sudden it clicked.
Yeah. So what? Okay. So this was my biggest question, right? I I realized not long ago there's this thing called aphantasia. Have you heard of that? You know what
It,
aphantasia is?
isn't that where people can't visualize?
Exactly.
Yep.
I can't visualize. So I've never been able to visualize. So my thing is well, if I can just have an out of body experience, maybe I'll be able to see it. Because no one talks about having aphantasia in out of body experiences. See, I thought everything I've been trying, they're just like, oh, just feel it, just. I'm like, so what you want me to do is exit my body and just be like a blind person and just feel it,
Right.
right? So I had to know if I exit my body, would I still be able to see?
hmm
And the answer is yes. It's crazy. You can exit the body and you can see. And ever since then, I've been seeing like how you explain it, like windows open up in my mind. So
Oh,
after I
nice.
left my body, uh, it like my brain, my aphantasia kind of still don't work, but it works when I get into meditations.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's something clicked in that, and I'm not for sure what it was, but that's really it. That's really cool because I never been able to actually see colors when I close my eyes or see little like gateway things opening, and I could just barely. And it, I get so excited, I lose grip of it because it's something I've never been able to do in my life. So my whole thing was is I wanted to experience an out of body experience just to see if the hype was real. And that's because I have questions and I can't find them. So we're gonna go on that journey. And so what led me to it is all these years of me saying, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. But something this year just clicked at the beginning of the year, and you know what, this New Year's, instead of losing weight, I'm just going to try to do out of body. And so my and so I started doing it here, doing a meditation and kind of doing research on it. Because you always talk about doing it until you're ready to do it, then you start doing the research on it.
Yep.
So I started doing the research on it, and I try to stay away from listening to people talk too much about their experiences because I don't want it to like mingle in with stuff.
Right.
So I just got as I didn't read no one's stories. I just kind of figured out, okay, so out of body means sleep paralysis. Okay, so let me just learn about sleep paralysis. And so I started learning about sleep paralysis, and then I heard people talking about the whole Monroe Institute stuff. So I tried to do some of their tapes. It just not necessarily wasn't for me. I'm not saying it's not for me. I did them.
Hmm.
I was doing it for like a month straight. I didn't get too far because I kept doing what they call blinking. Pretty much I was doing the meditation, and then you just like don't remember anything, and you're waking up out of the meditation when they're saying it's time to come back. So
Interesting.
I just kind of like it took me about a month to finally be able to stay awake through the whole thing. And I wasn't doing this without sleeping. I was doing this like when I first woke up in the morning. So you're kind of groggy,
It's
and
a good time.
it's a really good time. That was
Yep.
the best time. Why? Because I I got that thing called the tism, and so I go and hyper focused in on this, and I'm like, all right, so when's the best time everybody says to do it? Because that's what I wanted to try. But then that wasn't going to work, I was going to start using other times because
Hmm.
everybody's different. Everybody's signals are different.
For sure, man.
Everybody is tailor made. So that's why I think that so many different viewpoints are very valid, is because everybody's experience is different from other people's experiences, and what's good for you might not be good for me, and that's what's amazing about it, about this life, is because you could come back here, I don't know, 100,000 times, and it'd be different every time
Right.
because the experience is happening and all this other stuff. So so what I did was I was learning out of body experience, and then I was doing it for 4 months. So when we go April, so back in April, yeah, back in April is when I finally was able. So I got, I was listening. They're like, "Oh, you got to pretend to roll out of your body." So I
Hmm.
was sitting down in bed, and like 5 minutes every time I go to bed, I was getting up and down. So I could kind of, since I can't visualize, I'm having to memorize by movement.
Right.
So in my brain, I'm having to like, all right, so I'm supposed to get up and move. So I would get up and down with my eyes closed, and just to kind of feel what it would feel like, so I
Oh,
could
nice.
reinterpret. Because even though I can't see, I could still feel stuff.
Right.
So I have to get the feel. I had to learn how to get the feeling of rolling out of bed instead of, because you just don't know how normal that is for us. We do it every day,
Don't
so
even think
we
about it.
don't even think about
Yep.
it. So I had to practice doing that. And what happened was I finally was able to hit sleep paralysis. And it takes a while because if you feel your foot itching, you can't move.
Yeah.
You just gotta endure. You gotta endure it. And so after you endure that for a while, then it just like I explain it as tremors, kind of
Hmm.
like turbulence of an airplane. Like
Yeah.
it just, your body kind of starts vibrating a little bit. And then when that hits, that's when you pretend to roll out of bed. And
Nice.
so I was able to do that once. And then I got up, and it's crazy because it's all realistic still, but it's feels more alive.
Yeah.
So it's real. It feels real, just like me and you sitting here talking, but a little bit more enhanced.
Hmm.
Like the visuals are more, and everything just feels a little bit more realistic. Uh, and I got so excited. I was like, yeah. And then, whoop, right back in my
Right back.
body. Right back. And
Yep.
so I'm not for sure. I want to understand why that happens, but I could probably see it as a fail-safe thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not for sure. So I knew next time I did that, I couldn't do that. I went and did some research, and they say you're not supposed to do that. So, okay, so I'm supposed to just leave. So that's what I did. So a month later, it was actually more like 5 weeks later,
Hmm.
I was able to do it again.
Nice.
And this time, once I got out, I kind of uh, walked out of the room really quickly.
Hmm.
But before I could get out of the room, I was thinking, I need to get out of here really quick. And then
Yep.
before I knew it, I was on the roof of my house.
Nice.
So I just kind of went to go leave, and boop, I was just straight up on the roof.
Hmm.
And it was cool because the stars are more bright. But when I got up on the roof, there was my a familiar. It was like a shadowy figure,
Hmm.
but it wasn't a scary shadowy type figure.
Right.
It was more like somebody dressed in like a ninja outfit type. So and I knew that that was like somebody I knew. They
Hmm.
felt super familiar,
Yep.
and so uh I still really don't know who it is. I just know that they felt really fucking familiar to me. Like you know how you talk to some people and you just know that, damn, I've known you for a lifetime already.
Yes.
That was the feeling I was getting, you
That's
know?
awesome, man.
And so we went on a little adventure from there. Uh, I went, I didn't really, how, it's hard to explain it. I like being able to talk this out with you because I've only talked about it in my head, really.
Right.
So, but I don't remember a lot of it yet, but
Hmm.
bits and pieces still come back to me
Right.
every day. It's kind of like when you and a friend go off to a like an amusement park and you have a really fun day,
Hmm.
and then you talk about it, and then you forget parts of the day, and then later on you remember, oh yeah, we
Right.
did this too. So
Yep.
that all this stuff is still coming back to me in chunks. I
Nice.
actually haven't attempted to go back out of body since that second time because so
Okay.
much stuff happened.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of really reel that in before I just start going at it. Because I don't even know if I really want to go at it like that. Mainly because what I learned. So what? Okay, let me before I get too far ahead of myself. We'll jet back. All right.
Okay.
So I met my friend, right, and I was talking to him, and we were just speaking about uh kind of where we were and what the spirit world was a little bit,
Hmm.
and he was pretty much explaining to me that we really are from that spirit world. We're
Yep.
really from there, and that we just kind of like we don't know that in here when we're in our body.
Yep.
And it's not that we forgot. It's not just that we forget the spirits out there that are kind of involved with our world
Hmm.
kind of held back on it. They but that's because we're gods living an experience, you know? And so we want to so I'm a dungeon master, so I play a lot of D&D.
Nice.
So a lot of this stuff and the way I understand it
Hmm.
comes literally from the viewpoint of a dungeon master,
That's
because that's
awesome,
how
man.
I explain, that's how I see things, you know.
Yeah.
I played D&D for over 11 years, and for
Oh, wow.
more for that period of time, 4 times a week I was running games. I've ran
Nice.
so many games, so many in-depth games, built so many worlds.
Hmm.
And so whenever this is like I saw and understand what's going on, it's pretty much from the eyes of a DM player, of a
Nice.
Dungeons and Dragons player. So that's probably what you're going to hear me reference a lot.
Oh, it's okay.
That,
You're doing a great job explaining this. So
but
keep at it, man.
so we've been here a bunch. But so after me and him chopped it up for a little bit, he he like we ended up at like a cathedral. It
Hmm.
was a really big building, and it was real tall archways and this really beautiful cathedral. And it was like red and yellow tile floors as we're walking in these big old huge halls. And they would have rooms with literally just like one pedestal in the middle of the room
Huh.
with with like globes, like globes of stuff all around the place. And he was explaining to me how we we we've are immortal, so we get bored,
Yeah.
and so we make these worlds because we can,
Yep.
and then we put them on display for all the other souls that want to come try it out can come try it out.
Hmm.
And me, I've built my own universe. You built your own universe.
Yep.
We've all built our own universes, and we all invite everybody to come check out what we've done in our universes.
Right.
And so that's what we do for fun. We go in there and we learn stuff, and it's interesting to us.
Hmm.
And so I know that this world is very popping right now, but not every soul that's out there in existence has been here to
Right.
this universe. You know what I mean? This is its own game, its own. Everybody calls. It's so funny to me because we call this life a game, but essentially that's what really
It
it is.
is. Yep.
We call people, but a person, the root word is persona, which is character. So we literally call ourselves characters.
Right.
So it's so blatantly out there, the interface. We're just so used to not understanding it.
At
Like,
all.
have you? It's amazing how this reality tricks us, and it's just like if you ever get really deep in a video game and the graphics are really good and you're like running or riding a horse
Hmm.
and then you're about to fall off the side of a mountain and you feel that anxiety like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
shit, I'm about that's that's what we're in. It's
Yep.
like that's the video game experience to what we're in. We forgot we were even here. We're living in and I'm gonna tell you, whenever I got back in my body, it felt like I was putting wet clothes on.
Oh
And
wow.
that's just the worst for me. I does
Yeah.
not like wet clothes.
Right.
But that's what it feels like. But after a while you don't feel that anymore.
Yep.
You just used to it. But so my friend was showing me around and I went to this room where they had these like people just working around this table that had a hologram across it
Hmm.
and they were creating new plant species
Oh
and
neat.
they were showing me that they were that how they put evolution into the plant species and
Huh.
then literally just hit a button. It looked like it was a button. I don't know what it was, but in
Yep.
my brain it was they hit something, and I
Right.
watched this seed shoot, and just like they picked it up and then they dropped it into this construct, and it
Hmm.
just went straight down into the construct thing, and it seeded and it started growing inside this like game world. It was pretty much a real world, but it you could see through it
Right.
even though it was more like holographic where the you could just kind of see through everything and it was the structures and stuff.
Hmm.
This is the best way I can like say it. It's it looked like 3D blueprints. It
Okay.
just looked like blue on the blueprint paper, but everything was moved around and all the lines were everywhere and everything
Hmm.
was structured and they just kind of dropped it down into there. And and it's crazy how we have all these problems in the world today. Like they say plastic was an issue, right? But then
Hmm.
all of a sudden, in the middle of fucking nowhere, they found some algae that could eat plastic.
Right.
So that stuff was here already, but how did they already know it was here? And they were showing me how they just already kind of done this so much they know how to fix all this stuff before we even could get to the point that we're at because they've
Nice.
seen so many of these species evolve
Yep.
that they could kind of judge where we're at in our story
Hmm.
and what we're doing here. But we're our existence isn't even the most craziest part about this universe. That's what's crazy about it because we're here to learn
Hmm.
to 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 my biggest thing I like to say a lot to people is you don't know what you want in life until you live through what you don't want in life.
Right.
And so for us to grow as spirits, we have to live through things and learn from things. Like some people, they get stuck up and never learning.
Hmm.
Like somebody will be in an abusive relationship and break up and go right back into another abusive
You just
relationship
cycle.
and cycle it because they didn't learn from it, right?
Yep.
So they didn't grow spiritually from it. And that's how we come down and experience life. And it's crazy because when I say there's morals, everybody understands there's moralities and
Hmm.
morals and stuff, right? But how I was seeing and they were explaining to me was it's really similar to the honor system in like Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
It this existence we can do whatever we want, but we're learning from doing whatever we want. And
Hmm.
some mid-level souls in this world, in this universe, will say,
Hmm.
some mid-level souls, they they uh they go down and then they just want to play the game bad because they can,
Yep.
you know? And they learn it, even though you do something horrendous in life, you can still learn from it.
Oh yeah.
There's still a lesson. And and from the D&D perspective, I played so many characters, and you can really tell like an old school character from a new school person playing,
Hmm.
because the old school is gonna sit there and say, "You you see this bottle? I'm this bottle, and I'm gonna be this bottle. It's a level 17 paladin, chaotic neutral,
Hmm.
and I need one of my party members to carry me around. You know, that's we get out there because we've already played all the classes and all the
Right.
basic classes. And so when you come into this world, sometimes you're bored and you just want to get out there and do some
Yep.
crazy stuff. And we don't realize that that's what we're doing. We just we just got to live through it, because the whole allure of this level of this reality
Hmm.
is the fact that you don't know. It's you are lost
Right.
in it. It's
You're
an
just the
escape
character.
room. Yeah,
Yep.
you're in a virtual reality escape room. And some people, and this is what's so cool, is since we don't know that we're God, right? Other people in the other souls in this universe
Hmm.
get to be play gods. So it's God playing God.
Right.
And so all these gods, they're fighting with themselves because they get what I call it faith magic, right?
Hmm.
And how faith magic functions is if we believe in an idea, the more people that believe in the idea gives that idea or eidolon
Right.
weight in
Yep.
being able to use it.
Yep.
And so all these gods are up here and they're playing this game to rule these people that don't remember that they're gods also. And it's just one big, and you don't want a meta game. You don't want to take outside knowledge into the game. You want to
Right.
experience the game for the game.
Yeah, it takes the fun out of it, man.
It
No cheat
does take the
codes.
fun out. And this is why I don't know if I really want to do a lot of this traveling.
I
And
get it.
that's really I mean, you get depressed. You get depressed for a couple days afterwards.
Oh
It
man.
you because you're just like, dang, and then you're fighting with yourself. I want to do that a lot, but then I want to play. Me as a D&D player want to stay true to the game.
Right.
I came in here to maybe understand that I am part of the game at one point, but I just want to. If I know that this isn't going to last much longer, I want to be able to experience it and just live blindly again. But that's
For
never going to
sure.
happen.
Right.
Uh, but but I don't have to keep jumping out of my body either.
Right.
I nothing really compels me to go see what's in our Antarctica behind some ice walls.
Hmm.
Nothing compels me to really. Politics is politics. I like leaving politics out of my life. So
I'm right
I'm
there
not
with you.
trying to go spy on stuff. I'm not trying to go. Maybe I might go haunt and spook some of my homeboys.
Right.
But 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 going out and trying to like learn more lessons, and that's for other people's experience in their life and
For
and,
sure.
and their thing, and we're all doing it. We're all doing our own game, right?
Mhm.
So I respect everybody and their choices. If I wanted to live a life and be like and like I know that I said I don't believe in like the chosen one and stuff,
Mhm.
but if I wanted to live a life where I did believe in that,
You
I could
could.
do that.
Yep.
And then there's souls that get addicted to this and all they do is pop out and said, "What do I want to be next time?"
Yeah, right.
That one time I saw this happening. I was really thinking, because have you ever sat back and just observe life and be like, man, I wonder what it would be like to be that fucking
Oh
old
yeah.
lady bus driver.
Yep.
So you go do that. You like let me take a note. There's so many of the cool things I want to try to experience. Let me take some notes, and when I hop back out, I'm gonna hop back in and try this new thing out. And some people are dedicated to be in the same class.
Right.
Like every time they go out and they pop back in and go out because and what's cool about it is there's validity to that,
Oh yeah.
because you just learn deeper and deeper and deeper into that specific devotion or whatever you're doing.
Hmm.
And you wouldn't be doing it if there wasn't no lessons in it.
And I kind of wonder if you keep doing the same, playing the same character over and over, if even though, we forget when we come in, is it easier to learn whatever it is that they're doing for the experience they're having?
Right. Yeah. Do you become awakened earlier
Right.
because of like past? it's almost like I could see that, like muscle memory,
Right, right.
kind of like muscle memory stuff. Because
Yep.
I've been seeing some crazy stuff and feeling things since I was a kid,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I got aphantasia because I blocked out seeing like entities in my room,
Hmm.
or if I just completely blocked out myself from even trying to do astral projection or anything else.
So
I've
from
had
what
a
I
lot of.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I just want to say, from what I understand, sometimes we put things on our path to slow us down. So, with you not being able to see, you created this hurdle, but you ended up jumping over it anyways. And now
Yeah.
it sounds like the sight's come back on for you. So,
Oh, it did something more. And this is the crazy thing, right?
mhm.
I didn't understand that we couldn't see stuff in our head, right? So I'm 17 years old, 18 years old, and I came from a Assembly of God house. Like my
Okay.
dad was an evangelist. He graduated from Oral Roberts University.
Hmm.
He traveled evangelist, and then he came back, and then they were once they settled down, they were church. He preached at the church, but they were the children's church ministers.
Right.
So I spent my whole existence in church. Right. That's when I could do the whole speaking in tongues because that's the thing that church is doing, right?
Right. Their
So
version of
uh,
light language.
their version of light
Yep.
language. I do that very naturally. I do a couple
Nice.
different dialects of it.
Hmm.
I don't. That's one of the questions that I want to understand out of body. And I might have learned it already. I just don't remember
Right.
learning about it. And we might hop off of this and it'll be like, choo,
Right.
just, and then
It's
I
coming
remember I
back.
was like, oh man, I should have picked up bread at the store. I
Right.
knew I forgot something, you know. We want to remember that stuff, and that's why I'm not trying to hop back in real fast.
Right.
I want to kind of mole, right? You think over,
Right.
think over this a little bit to kind of see if I could like really understand what was going on. And a lot of it has to do with the way I'm already talking to you. It's I learned that some of these people are really caught up in it. And if you believe in the Christian experience per se,
Hmm.
and this is just because this is the most relevant in our area,
Right.
right? Uh, Everybody knows somebody that's some type of Christian.
Yep.
And so it's very relevant. So if you're doing the Christian thing, they have a soul like us that they call God,
Hmm.
right? That's playing the God thing for them and doing the God thing for them. And they believe what they're doing. And they believe that they're God. And there's angels, which are other souls. And they're doing their thing. And all these other planes are doing their thing. They're
Hmm.
being a part of this big giant game. They're
Right.
being a part of, and it's cool because we don't even, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. You know, I really I want to see what's going to happen from ground level, ground
Right.
zero, and but I want to end up getting sidetracked.
Oh, you're good, man.
So what I was talking about is you could when you exit the body and you're like a devout Christian,
Hmm.
you're going to experience Christian things.
Okay.
You're gonna step out of the body and your brain is gonna be able to comprehend like I could comprehend everything from a DM viewpoint. If you're
Hmm.
heavy into Christian stuff, you're gonna really comprehend everything as, oh, I'm in heaven. I'm in this place, and there are levels of heaven. There are layers of
Hmm.
heaven, but you can't get to heaven unless you have resonance equal to the heaven resonance. You know, so you gotta vibe on that level to be able to reach that level.
I
But
see.
but heaven is not just the Christian heaven. There's other equivalents,
Right.
like what Buddhists would say nirvana. It's just your equivalent of that vibration is there. And you get to learn when you get there. When you
Hmm.
get there, you learn what's going on in that level.
Right.
And you can always lower yourself down to a different level, but you can't raise yourself up
Hmm.
above a level. And if you want to just say, you know what, I'm done with this game system, I'm done with this game, I want to go somewhere else, I'm cool with it for now, you could just completely bounce out of the realm. You
Okay.
just could, you just like, you know what, I'm tired, I've played this 100 times.
Yep.
I've been angel, I've been this, I've been a titan, I've been all sorts of stuff, and I just want to go ahead and bounce. You could do that. You
Right.
have you have every right to do that. But people love getting caught up in this stuff, and
Oh
we
yeah.
love making theories about it.
Right.
There's theories about every game out there. What do we do as humans? We sit down and make crazy theories. Like there's uh there's this game, and in the background they have this type of background, which means you could be looking at this for like, oh, let me rephrase this. So there's this new thing out for Nintendo Switch. It is
Hmm.
called like Tamagotchi Life or some shit like that, right? My girlfriend is playing it. It's a cozy game. I guarantee a lot of girls play it, and it's you get to create your own people
Hmm.
and design them, and you can put anybody in there, and you get to float around and just watch them do their little everyday life, and you can interact, and they give you it gives you some like they get happy and you get to harvest little light from them.
Hmm. Oh wow.
It is really a replica of kind of what we do with the gods, just kind of hover around and see what you're doing, and then they receive something from it because the teacher learns from the student just as
Right.
much as the student learns from the teacher,
That's wild.
right? And so and so what the theory though, this game's new, but there's
Hmm.
a theory that it's set on an island. We all know, everybody knows it's on an island.
Hmm.
But if you look off in the distance, there's a city silhouette.
Okay.
And they were comparing that to San Francisco. And they were showing the silhouette to San Francisco and the
Hmm.
silhouette to the game, and how the island has to be Alcatraz,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
It it could be a coincidence. It could be. It could not be.
Yeah.
But it's the game's brand new, and you're already going deep in some theories here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what we like to do. We like to come in here and we like to throw around some theories, just like you got fan fictions and people like to throw around theories of their favorite stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We hop in here, we do our theories, and then we hop out of here and we talk to people and we're like, yeah, check the da 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 da. And it's fun, it to me it's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I really respect it. I really respect this understanding and this viewpoint of it.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that it's it's really cool. That's really it's like my everything feels performative now.
Right.
Ever since I've been back and everything's been rendering still, and everything's still like coming into focus for me. The more and more I want to just go yell at everybody like, wake up!
Right.
Would you realize this? You know, it's made me more less judgmental on people
Yeah.
because I was learning that like we don't judge. Like when we leave out of this existence,
Yeah. There's no
we don't
judgment on
judge
the other
each other.
side. Right.
Yeah, there's none. There's no judgment. Uh it's because you can't fully love somebody and judge somebody.
Yeah.
And we're just love each other because we're each other.
Hmm.
It's just like God, I believe we use, and this is what my homie spirit said
Hmm.
is 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 this time we call ourselves gods. And so that's why you hear God a lot. Is
I
because
see.
this time is what we chose to call ourselves in this reality.
Huh.
Our gods. But essentially we're just beings that are all connected.
Yep.
It's just like what the Indians say, we're the many strands of the hair of the head of God or
Oh,
whatever.
right.
We're all the same thing. And it's like God is also plural because deer, right? You can look over and see a deer and you go, oh, that's a deer. When you
Mm.
look over and you see five deer, you say, oh, look at the deer. And so God, and then look, we're gods. It's the pack of gods over here, and there's a deer. It's just we're not singular. We're the same whether it's multiple or just one because
Right.
we're all one. And so
That's well said, man. I understand God is in everything, from the person you don't like to the wall to the car to just everything. What I've learned through the work that I do is everything is conscious too, so it
right,
it It's like the piece of the puzzles kind of fit together, and it's not in the way we were told we had to put it together, but it starts to make sense, and you're just like, oh crap, wow, okay,
Yeah. And it makes sense to you. And it's going to always be presented to you to make sense to you.
right,
And that's what that whole living word thing is. The whole living word thing is you're going to figure out a way for it to make sense to you. And the
right.
universe is going to figure out a way for it to make sense to
Oh
you.
yeah,
The interface is what I started calling it recently. It's just
okay,
the interface. This game is meant to interact with us,
hmm,
and we don't. And you can't interact with it if okay. So it's always going to interact with you, and it's going to give you what your heart's desire,
yep,
right? So if you desire for bad stuff to happen to you, it's going to feed bad stuff to you.
yep,
If you desire for good stuff to happen to you, it's going to put you through the ringer and you think, oh, this is shitty, but what it's doing is allowing you to experience what you don't want so
see,
you can
experience
know
what you
what you
do,
do want.
right,
And then what happens is you never want to do that stuff again or live like that again or do anything like that again.
hmm,
So you get to be more positive and more happy. And 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 I understand there's a term toxic positivity out there,
hmm,
but the thing is there's not all positivity is toxic positivity.
right,
I think that there's people that smear it on too much and are not genuine.
yeah,
So if you're trying to be and you avoid situations in negative situations because oh I don't have to put myself through it. And I understand you don't have to put yourself through it.
hmm,
But the difference here is you either face your fears and layer I'm just ignoring it because I'm saying positive stuff,
right,
or you learn to control your emotional state. If you can control your emotions, then you're really positive.
yep,
And people that's had horrific and terrific beginnings of life end up with the most beautiful lives at the end
oh
of it
yes,
if they can move through that
yep,
stuff. And and those people are just naturally positive people, not toxic.
right,
They're positive because they're not running from their fears.
or
We
bypassing
are
their fears, and
bypassing
that's
them.
where
Yes.
growth comes from, man.
Right. Exactly. It is fear. Everything is about fears and getting over fears.
Yep,
And every negative emotion leads to some type of fear. And you really can't exist. You can't go to higher levels of existence with fears. That's one thing that will keep you from raising up
oh
in
yes,
anything is the fear thing. And that's what's so funny to me because we have so many religions out there that are fear based.
yes they are,
And even hope is a byproduct of fear.
huh?
It
You said hope,
hope hope is a byproduct of fear because you're putting out there that there's another possibility that's going to happen.
yeah, that makes sense,
And so you're telling the person I hope that you get home safely, meaning there's a chance that you're not going to get home safely.
right,
But there's a fear there that you're not going to get home safely. So I'm speaking it into existence that you do get home safely.
yep,
But but hope itself is a what I call a white fear. It's just like a white lie.
right.
It's something that don't feel like it's a fear, and it's so subtle that it will keep you in fear.
Man, I like that. Thank you for sharing that. That's great.
But yeah, I appreciate that. I got a
So,
song called that too. My
oh,
song
nice.
titles are really unique.
Okay.
Like a lot of them are this out of control, crazy sounding,
Hmm.
and then some of them are really you sit back and you like you would have read them like, oh, I wonder why he thinks hope is fear.
And it
But
would make sense from listening to it, right?
yeah, it
At
does.
least get your mind thinking about it.
It does. That's what I like to do. I like to make you think about stuff and question life subtly.
Right.
Uh, I try to formulate like little statements I say all the time just to kind of, I'm teaching you, but not teaching you. It's your choice whether you want to actually hear what I'm saying. And if you're receptive, you'll hear it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it's your time to hear something, you'll hear it. And I think that's crazy because it's your mindset. It's just crazy how mindset can make you hear something completely different.
Oh, yes.
And and I've seen that happen multiple times where there's two people in front of me and one person's in a positive mindset, one person's in a negative mindset, and I make a statement. The person in a positive mindset understands, the person in a negative mindset completely, because you you make wrong decisions and bad decisions in your feelings.
Hmm.
And if you're in your feelings, you're not thinking straight, and you're not
Right.
really observative to what's going on and being said. And it twists it. Your mind will twist it, and you'll hear something completely different, and it will make you go deeper into your feelings.
It goes back to that emotional regulation you were
And
talking
it's,
about, you
yeah,
know.
it is.
But what's cool, man, with you, coming up with little sayings at a minimum, even if the negative person wasn't receptive to what you said, you still put a seed in their hand, you know?
Yes,
And
yeah.
I always feel like the seed's going to sprout someday when they're ready.
It
So,
will. It will.
yep,
That's the whole thing is we plant seeds. We all plant seeds.
yep.
Every single day you're getting seeds planted into your head from either your friends, your loved ones, people that you hate, okay, Clorox bleach ad commercials. There's all sorts of different seeds being planted in your head at all
Yep,
times. And it's just gotta make the soil the right pH balance to harvest the right things.
yep.
And sometimes weeds come in your life to fix other portions of bad soil.
Oh, yes.
You may not like that there, but it's crazy how negative experiences could be some of the most positive things. If Because what I learned is you never find the answer to the solution. You find the answer to the solution in the situation.
Right.
And so sometimes you got to be in that crazy emotional state situation and asking yourself, why am I like this? Why is this going on?
Yep.
And you'll find the answer in the actual situation itself, not outside of the situation. And it's crazy how many times I've had to put myself into negative stuff. And I tell my girlfriend too. I'm like, baby, I can't control what I'm doing right now. I understand that I'm in a bad mood, but I don't know why I'm in a bad mood. And
Yep.
I need to figure out why and what's putting me in this bad mood.
For
And
sure.
so and so sometimes I tell her, don't listen to anything I'm saying while I'm in this mode,
Right.
because things are gonna be said that I really don't hold weight to.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how your brain is wants to lie. It just wants to lie to hurt people.
Yeah.
And even though you never had one bad thing about somebody, if you're in a negative enough state, you're gonna come up with something.
Yes.
You're gonna pull something from somewhere to try to hit them in the heart with it.
Yep.
And and that's because you're completely lost it. And the thing is it's not even them. It's not even them.
Yeah,
When
it's
you
you.
get mad, it's you. There's something going on with you.
100%.
Because there's a no one can make you feel but you.
Yep.
And the whole thing is people say that person made me feel that way, but they got to understand that person didn't make you feel that way.
Right.
You made yourself feel that way because you told yourself in your head 3 days before, you know what, I need to take care of this now. And then you
Hmm.
put it off, and then you put the weight on somebody else, and then you start projecting on them.
Yep.
And that's not really, that's it's you. It's you, and then you're making everybody else miserable because the first thing somebody does when somebody's a higher vibration in them is try to take them down to their level of
Right.
vibration. Because if you don't know how to get to a high level of vibration, then the then people want to take you out.
Yep.
They want to take you down to their level because they don't understand how to get to that level themselves. And it's crazy. It's because it's not taught. Like this is
Right.
stuff that we're supposed to learn on our own. It it yeah, people write books about it, which is cool, and it reaches some people, but but the majority of people don't learn this stuff,
And
you
it's
know.
kind of, circles back to what you were saying earlier with you kind of you have to live those experiences and the universe is going to show you what you need to see in a way that makes sense for you. So,
Exactly.
it's like when I was a kid, my parents could tell me things and it didn't sink in at all. But when I got older, things started to make sense as I made the mistake and thought about what they said. And, you know,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
your future self. Yeah, you're. It's just so cool how the world works, man. I know I probably said this 50 times already.
that's okay, man.
It's just I live. It's I love this experience.
Right?
And what I understand is it is about emotional regulation and control, but it is perfectly good for you to get lost in your emotions.
Oh yeah.
It's you can't learn different emotions that you don't like if you haven't experienced them.
Yep.
And experience trumps everything. Because if you experience something, no one can take that away from you.
Yep. And you know it.
And you know it. And that's why it doesn't matter what anybody says. I went out of my body.
Hmm.
So I know in my life that that's for real,
Oh yeah.
and people can think whatever they want to, but they're not living my experience.
Right.
And this is my character, and this is what I want to do. And we all have points, right? And it's not like our soul doesn't have interaction with us,
Right.
right? Our soul has mega interaction with
Oh yeah.
us. And it's the same thought process and voice and everything that you experience in this body that you experience outside of this body.
Hmm.
Uh, it's just like this is like the old. Remember back in the day when Nintendo first came out with their fucking VR
Oh
and
yeah.
everything was red.
Yep.
That's what it feels like to be back in this body.
Right.
It's everything feels clunky after when you first come back.
Yep.
And then after a little while, it just you kind of start forgetting that this is what you are because even though you're playing that video game and even though if you run off that cliff you're not gonna fucking get physically hurt,
Yep.
that feeling and that feeling you get and that anxiety that kicks up and that fight or flight thing that kicks up in you for
Hmm.
feeling experience that you might get a character that you're playing and you're sucked so much up in, just like you get sucked back into the body when you first come out of it if you're not careful, you
Right.
get sucked right back into this game. And it's beautiful. And yeah.
Man, so I'm curious, you mentioned you did a lot of church throughout your childhood, and then
I
now
did a
it
lot of
seems
bunch of religions.
okay. So, and I'm just curious, what was that progression like to get to where you are now? Because it seems like you have a little bit different of a mindset, but kind of held on to some of the same concepts and
Right. Well,
made
I have to hold on to those concepts because that's what allows me to ground me to talk to people.
oh yeah, for sure.
Right? Because if I would just talk to them the way that I see things, it would go over so many people's head.
Oh yeah.
You know? And so you gotta be able to tell the story in different ways and viewpoints. In all religions, a lot of religions are practically the same thing,
Yep.
the same structure, the same framing. It's just different color walls and different type of furniture and all that.
Yep.
So but if you want to experience God through religion, you got multiple religions you can experience God through religion.
Yep.
You got and so when I was a kid, I grew up in the church and I was speaking in tongues and doing that thing and I just always know something. People know something about my spirit that I don't know. They
Hmm.
see things that I don't see. And every time a preacher would come to town, I would be the one being called. It became a running joke. It became a running joke because every time there was a preacher that came into the church that was they wanted to pray over me.
Interesting.
And people's come up to me and see this is why I don't really speak my experiences
Hmm.
because they sound really far-fetched and they aren't,
Right.
but it's just, and I have witnesses to a bunch of them and a lot of stuff I won't talk about out loud unless I know I have witnesses that people can go technically ask people,
Well,
right?
man, I think there's definitely like a frequency to truth. So
Yeah. Well, I've
it's
learned the more high level spirit you are outside of this body, the more rare your life is inside of this game.
okay. Interesting.
It, it's uh, it's it's just the correlates, the correlations
Hmm.
that I see with with people of smaller percentage groups and smaller things, guaranteed they have some type of bigger spiritual aura.
Hmm.
That's just from my experience.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. It's just more, the more powerful the spirit is, the more rare stuff happens to them in this existence.
Right.
And we're all equal, but we're also all we're not equal as souls because some souls are still growing and some souls have experience. So,
Hmm.
and then what happens is you become a cluster of souls,
Yep.
like because eventually you learn everything that you can learn. So the Christian thing, all right, we'll go back to this because this really brings this over here. So so at one point I started getting into the spirituality stuff, right? Because my dad was a preacher, but my dad also wasn't you know, he lived a double life. He wasn't
Okay.
a model preacher. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
everybody looked towards him and gravitated towards him for advice and guidance.
Right.
But you know that saying, what happens behind closed doors happens behind closed doors type
Yep.
shit, right? And so I I lost my fear a lot because my dad used to scare the holy living shit out of me too much when I was growing up, right?
You're right.
And so I lost a lot of fear, and I just became. And so I've been able to control my emotions from a lot of that because I would go
Yep.
crazy. I would, like my dad was scary
Yeah.
to me as a kid. You know, now I'm older. I understand he was not scary at all.
Right.
He was just him. You know, he was just doing him. But at one point, my parents my parents brought me to an exorcist. They were wholeheartedly believe I had demons in me.
Oh man.
Uh and that's because I was and this is why I think I blocked a lot of stuff out.
Hmm.
Because I would write a whole new language. Would write weird languages on my wall and I would be speaking about entities that come in and out of my room.
Oh wow.
And being a staunch Pentecostal Assembly of God type Christian, that there was a lot of prayers over my doors at night.
Probably
There
freaked
was
him
a
right
lot
out,
of
huh?
yeah,
Yep.
because they don't understand what I'm talking about. Because I hate it. Christians think everything is the devil,
Yep.
and and so I just learned that like I started reading into like Edgar Casey because that kind of got interesting to me.
Yep.
But my mom would forbid it from me reading it. She'd be
Oh.
like, he's the devil, you know, he's
Sheesh.
really a demon. You don't listen to stuff like that."
Yep.
And so what would you tell a kid that what happens? You deep dive into it.
Oh yeah.
You run head first and don't even check how deep the fucking end is. You just jump in. And
Yep.
so that's what got me going into the anti-Christian route.
Hmm.
And then after that, I met somebody that was agnostic,
Hmm.
and then that got me going into Gnosticism. And then I went from Gnosticism, I went to Islamic. So with Islam, I studied Buddha, and I went down the path because I wanted to understand why why we were here.
Yep.
Why can I speak in tongues and not be Christian?
Right.
Why can I sit there and profane God and still get have gifts from God?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that really drove me to understand it because in other languages, so like it's called barbarous words of evocation, and then we call it nowadays we call it angelic or light language.
Right.
You know, so it's one of those things that recur in a lot of religions, but no religion has a fucking explanation for it.
Right.
And so that's one of these things that I'm really gonna find out. Like this is besides having aphantasia trying to learn out of body. Now my biggest question is why do I even speak this? Like what reason do I even entertain this whole thing?
Hmm.
You know, and that's just a really big question for me. And but when it comes to spirituality, man, it's just I, I don't even know how to explain it anymore. You
Right.
know, it's 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 you got to have a lot of faith, and eventually, what's you have so much faith
Hmm.
that nothing matters anymore. That you just stay on a high level of vibration.
Right.
and nothing could really it's mastering your emotions, man. That's
100%.
like the key. If I have to tell anybody anything, the biggest key to anything is mastering your emotions.
Yep.
Master your emotions, and you'll learn a lot in life if because you miss out on a lot of opportunity if you're in your feelings,
You do.
you
And
know,
fear.
and fear. Yeah, and that's fear is a motivator in its own right, but
Yeah.
you shouldn't be in fear a lot.
Right.
It's just something you should be doing every once in a while, getting into fear because fear will teach you a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And but you're not going to learn all the fears. That's what the amazing thing is about living different lives because every life I could focus on a different fear that I have to overcome.
Right.
And this one, well, the biggest one was fear of acceptance in my life. My life, but that's because I felt like I was so different from everybody. Then
Yeah.
come to find out, I'm not different from a lot of people.
Right.
Like a lot of us have these experiences, and we don't even realize that other people are having these experiences also.
Yep.
And then we're like, I don't want to sound like the weird one here, but we all are weird.
Yeah.
We all say that. I think everybody says that about something in their life,
Oh, yes.
and and that's because they just feel that that's not a social norm. But we
It's
need
like
to
the
make the social norm.
oh, for
Like,
sure, man. It's like the uh conspiracy theory version of people that are spiritual. The same thing happens anytime someone says something that's kind of outside the norm, and they're like, "I'm not a conspiracy theorist,"
yeah, don't
but
don't look at me weird.
you're
I
right.
don't want you to think any less of me.
It's
And
funny,
it's just natural we don't want to look less in other people's eyes, but we're
right?
really it that's part of the system. That's the way the system is made.
Yep.
Uh it wouldn't be much of a game if there was no oppositions.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some type of something going on in the game for you to want to be in the game, you know. And and I'm learning this stuff, and it's crazy because I was learning about something that they talked about. My whole thing is I've been writing a book. I've been writing a book for a
Oh,
while,
cool.
right?
Hmm.
And it's called the 13 Seals, right? And it what's so cool is it they make a reference to the 13 Seals in Gnostic text.
Okay.
In the Nag Hammadi, there's a I can't remember what book it is, but there's a book where it literally has one line and it talks about the 13 Seals of Marinez. And so I'm gonna take that. I've taken that whole concept and I'm writing a whole anime style book series out of it.
That's cool.
And I want to show that every seal represents a different layer of this existence.
Hmm.
And the more you understand the level of existence, the more you can activate the seals,
Right.
which gives you godlike powers in this plane.
Hmm.
And it's true. There's entities here that don't have bodies that will possess you. And that stuff that they talk about, demon possession, that's for real stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just a Christian thing. It's a for real thing that can happen.
Hmm.
You know, and people got to be aware that that stuff happens all the time. We just don't know it happens.
Yep.
But not all that stuff that's doing that is being malicious towards you either.
They're there for your
Uh,
growth as well.
they're there for your growth as well, just
Yeah.
like they're there for their growth. And I just how my book series parallels this is our body, a human body, has the ability to allow a soul to elevate in existence.
Hmm.
And what's so crazy is when I stepped out and had my OBE, that's like right on par with what's going on. And I'm
Right.
like how much of my existence is really correlating with what's really happening out there.
Right.
And there's the wars. There's wars going on outside of here, and then what you got the entities that are like on the level right above the soul level.
Hmm.
It they got their own characters and creatures, and they're at war
Yep.
with each other. And you would be because this is a realm of duality, and so all this conflict is really due because there has to be a duality to everything here.
Hmm.
And so all these people are fighting for their factions, right? So all these different entities are fighting for their factions and their way that they see and view existence,
Yep.
and and, and they got to have their duality to it, and it's a lot.
You know
It's
what's
a
awesome
lot.
though, it seems like the main rule here is free will though. And it's cool with what you're describing. Some people see positive, negative, good, bad. I like how earlier you said there's absolutely no judgment on the other side. And it's just amazing how, we step in, play these characters, whatever our part may be, like we're in a play.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just cool
And we
stuff.
play our roles, and some of us
Oh
play
yeah.
our roles to the T, and
Yeah.
then some of us completely go off script.
Yep.
And that's that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. And I feel like some suffering that is here is due for us because we did go off script and we did go. And I feel sad that you have to suffer, but I've lived existences also where I've suffered, and
Yeah.
I know that sounds so bad,
Not
but
at all, man.
that I know, but a lot of people think that I have that I'm a dick. Just to be honest,
Ah,
just because I hate to use that, but that's the most blunt fucking word I can use on this
right.
end. Is because I care that something bad's going on, but I also understand that they chose for that to live in their existence.
Exactly. Both
And
sides too, man.
yeah, both sides too. It did we meet up. And what I was saying goes back to the exorcism thing.
Hmm.
When I went to Bob Larson, my parents brought me to Bob Larson. I don't know if you know who he is, but
I don't.
he's one of the people in the field of exorcism, and he
Okay.
used to travel across America and do these little convention centers where
Hmm.
all these people would show up with all these family members they thought were possessed, and
Yep.
he would go around and he would do his little thing, and that really opened my eyes because ended up being one of the people that started shaking. And when he got close, I literally just got up and started screaming at him in my
Oh
light
wow.
language,
Huh.
right? And then he was all like, in the name of Jesus, tell me your name. You're supposed to, and I'm like, well, why do I have to tell you? He's like, you need to speak your name into this microphone. And he would stick the microphone in my face, and I'm all like, why do I have to tell you my name in a
Right.
microphone? And then he's like, demon, be quiet. And he took the Bible and slapped me in the face.
Oh my
And I have
gosh.
braces, and I started
Oh
bleeding. And
man.
then they drugged me to the front, and I was just laughing at them. And the thing was funny is it was just so much laughing. It was just, it's hard to explain it, but I was sitting there just, and they're going crazy, and I'm all like, he's trying to get demons out of me, and there's 20 people around them praying to Jesus to get the
Yep.
demons out of me, and I'm just all
Oh
like,
man.
bro, there's no demons in me.
Right.
I just feel like you're exercising things that you don't even know what you're exercising.
Yep.
You're just calling them demons. And this is what made me go down that whole other path, is
I see.
because I realized then that, and I said in that instance, I was like, I have 187 other souls in this existence right now. I could throw you one of those. You want me to throw you one of those? And he's
Right.
like, oh, demon, just tell me your name so I can expel thee. And I'm all like, I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Right.
It's you want me to do something? Am I supposed to do something here?
Yep.
And I just feel like he, in a lot of exorcisms, don't truly. Yeah, there's some evil stuff here. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But there's also some really good things here. And they access your body just as much as the demons can access your
Oh
body.
yeah.
And not everything that enters into you is meant to harm you.
Yep.
And and I just wish that people understood that. And you will if you get to that point and you live those experiences.
Yep.
And so this whole exorcism thing like awakened my eyes and that was all like, all right, so this guy says I'm a demon. I guess I need to go see what this whole demon stuff is about, right?
Right.
And so I started going down and learning about the satanic stuff, and I'm all like, well, this shit makes sense,
Yep.
and you wouldn't think it, but it does. It makes a lot of sense. But every religion has information that makes sense,
There's a
you
golden
know, and
thread that goes through everything. You
yeah,
know?
it goes through everything. And what? Okay, so in the music career industry, right?
Hmm.
You got record labels, and you're not supposed to stay at a record label. You go to a record label, you learn what you can from the record label, and eventually you outgrow the record label. And
Yep.
then you go on to the next thing, right? And so what here is eventually in religion, you're going to outgrow that religion
Yep.
if you're not pre-programmed to stay in that religion. Like I feel bad for my mom. I really want my mom to understand that there's more out there than what she is,
Right.
but she's just so old that she's it's stuck in her ways,
Yeah.
and I can't explain to her. So I just know that she's blissful in doing what she's doing, and she
Yep.
has every right to be that.
For
She's
sure.
happy, right? Why am I going to ruin her day and ruin her whole existence by trying to crumble and prove my way is better than her way?
Right.
Because my way is my way, you know?
That
And
it is,
so
man.
I can't just like it's up to her to want to learn in instances in her life, but for all I know, her spirit wants to do this. This is
Yep.
her journey this time is to live and see this all the way out. And so and it's cool because how the end of this whole thing is gonna happen is gonna end up happening the way that the end of all these different religions describe it's gonna happen
Yep.
because of how many people believe that it's going to happen. And
It's cool you mentioned that, man. I kind of understand, like you were saying before, where we all created our own universe. I see it as we all are in our own reality. And anytime people argue about something, both parties are right. They both feel like they're right. That's what they believe, and that's true to their universe there. So
you're
I
right.
totally understand what
Yeah.
you're saying, man.
Well, everybody's true. Everybody has some truth. And it's
Yep.
crazy even lies have truths. And when you argue with your brain is going to always tell you something valid to not get you to do something that you
Right.
know you're supposed to do.
Oh, that
And
wonderful
it's
ego.
truthful.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's truthful.
Yeah.
It's gonna lay all these facts on why you shouldn't do it, and you just gotta be a judge. You're your own judge,
Yep.
and so that's the only thing you do judge. The only thing you can judge is you and your actions.
Hmm.
And even when you exit this body and you get a little, when we all have been to amusement parks, and then we've all seen to where you go on the roller coaster and you hop off, and then you walk by the photo booth,
Yep.
and you have an option to get a picture of yourself screaming. Uh, we get that when we leave here. Like
Nice.
we get a copy of our experience, and we could go back and
Yep.
we can look at that. I probably got a library at my spirit house that has a bunch of different lives I have,
Oh yeah.
you know, or a doom pile of them. In it's something we can go back and learn. And you say, you know what? I judge myself for that.
Hmm.
I need to fix that.
Yep.
If I'm going to go do this again, I definitely want to do this differently. But you don't have to be hard on yourself. You just
Right.
no, dang, I missed the mark this time. I wish I should have done it this way,
Hmm.
and next time this happens, I'm just gonna maybe pop myself in there and nudge it a little bit.
Yep.
Turn the radio on when no one else is in the room, just so they can get questionable about spiritual stuff.
Yep.
Because when weird stuff starts happening around you, that makes you really start asking about stuff.
Oh yes.
And there's things that so once I hit like 21
Hmm.
and because I was in a Christian super strict household, I did what any kid would do. I went wild when I got
Yep.
out of my house. And I was doing things that I don't even think I should have survived.
Yeah.
And there's times where people would get scared of me. See, I used to have friends, and I had this one girlfriend that literally broke up with me, didn't want nothing else to do with me.
Oh.
She was all into the mystical stuff like I was.
Hmm.
But one day, our friends walked into the living room, and something had me pinned down, and I was kind of levitating off the ground.
Wow.
And that was when she was all like, "All right, it was cool when it wasn't real.
Oh.
Let's go."
Too much.
It's
Too much.
too much. It's cool when it's on paper,
Yep.
but not when it's in front of me.
Isn't
And
it
so,
interesting? I've run into a few people like that too. You think that they're going to be interested or at least able to process or handle what happens, but when the time comes, you just get that blank look on the face and gone,
Yeah, they don't know what
not at all.
it's and you don't know what you're going to respond to until you get into that situation.
Right.
And you can say that you got to be cool about it all the time, but it's really the mindset that you're experiencing just before that situation kicks off that can make you have a completely different perspective on it.
Right.
And and that's why it's always recommended that you have control over your emotions.
Yep.
There's biblical talk about it. See, the whole Jesus walking on water is emotions.
Hmm.
Jesus was able to walk on water because of his emotions, and
Okay.
whenever the storms come over, those are other people's emotions coming over to put turbulence in your water.
Interesting.
And and Jesus is just like, nah, just walk on this shit
Right.
because he has control over his emotions. But then the other people, they couldn't walk on it because they didn't have control. And then
Right.
Peter decided he was going to walk on it because he put faith into somebody that he was seeing walk on it. But
Hmm.
then he got a little emotional there and just slipped right into the emotions. You get sucked and drenched in your emotions really fast if you're
Oh yeah.
not careful. And so because as much as the parables are water back in those times, really water still represents emotion.
Yep.
Like it even in tarot and divinations, and that's all that stuff still represents emotion.
Hmm.
And in that story, they're just really just talking about how Jesus had complete control over the emotions. And then when he told the storm to stop,
Hmm.
stop, to stop, that it stops and it didn't waver his emotions. He
Man,
was just telling him, you can't come fuck with me. It's it
thank you. Thank you so much for describing it like that, man. What you just said makes so much sense. I guess I just never thought of it that way. So that's definitely gold. Thank you.
Oh yeah. I have a lot of those.
I get it.
It's just what I have the ability to explain things.
Yep.
And that's my gift. And I've done my whole life, and now since I came back from those OBEs, I understand that I got to do this. It's
Hmm.
like my whole life, I'm like, please don't make me be the spokesperson. I don't want to be the spokesperson. Could you see how many people out here get really bad rep?
Yep.
I don't want to be that person, but I don't do nothing to have that rep.
Right.
So I don't even know. That was my brain kind of just telling me, they're gonna look at you weird.
Yep.
They're gonna find something, but there's nothing you can find. You know,
I-
I speak what I do. I live what I speak.
It's
I
the way to be.
I don't judge nobody. I don't get myself put into put. See, some of the stuff that I learned when that one time I was out, I may have only been out of my body for a short time here,
Hmm.
but I was like kicking it over there in the spirit realm for like 3 or 4 months.
Time is different, man.
It is very different. And it is.
Yeah.
It's same way when you go play a video game. The time runs every 20 minutes. It's going to be dark. And then you stop the game and you hop
Right.
out. 6 months may go by. Then you come back and pick it up. And you pick up right where you left off. And
Hmm.
the days go by really fast. You can play a game for 12 hours. But in the game, it's been 14 days.
Right.
So it's really core. We Do you know they say the same above as below,
Yep.
the macro, the micro? We are so gods that we are trying to be gods and don't even know that we're being gods.
Right. It's like
We,
a spiritual version of Inception, or like the real life version of that movie.
yeah,
It's a dream in a
yeah,
dream where the player, the game, and then we play another game and another game. It's
and
it's
enough. Yeah,
mind-blowing, man.
it is because we don't realize that we're replicating our universe,
Yeah.
but we're replicating our universe with clunky technology
And without our memories,
and without our memories
Yep.
because we're so gods that we naturally do it. And that's what I was saying before. Sometimes so when I was studying Taoism,
Mhm.
right? It talks about in a book called the Laosa, right? There it talks about if you're like supreme being or supreme truth, you don't know your supreme truth
Right.
because you just are supreme truth,
Yes.
you know? And if you're false truth trying to be supreme truth, you can never be supreme truth because you're trying to be supreme truth.
Yep.
And we are gods and we're being gods. Don't even know we're being gods because we are
All
gods.
right.
You know, it's so similar to leaving this body. It's just very quickly.
Yep.
Like now, I don't have to sit in the kitchen for 45 minutes to make me a barbacoa burrito.
Hmm.
I could just go boom, barbacoa burrito, and I could relive experiences to eat in that barbacoa burrito.
Yep.
Uh, so and you can even think about it in your thought process. So we have a spiritual. Everybody knows that we have an electromagnetic force around us,
Yep.
right? But we could tap into that electromagnetic force, and that's where all of our experiences as the soul that you are.
Okay.
You could tap into that, and
Hmm.
a lot of times your dreams, you're just tapping into your bubble, and your brain is trying to show you things and relive different experiences through other experiences and possibilities that you've already experienced and we just don't realize that
Right.
that's what we're doing because our conscious can't talk to us directly, right?
They can leave hints and
But they can leave
yep.
hints. Yeah, because it's metagaming. It's me as a player knowing exactly what's about to happen in this game, and
Hmm.
then me trying to figure out as a character how to sneak that information into the game without
Right.
the DM noticing I snuck that information into the game.
Yep.
And
Anti cheats on. So
yeah, exactly.
yep.
but so and there's so much I could talk about because I'm getting so sidetracked on a bunch of things.
That's okay. It's been a fun convo, man. I've really enjoyed it.
Because as I talk about other things, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't explain this or that. Uh, but
Yeah, the
we were
floor is
going to
yours,
the
man. So
yeah. It's just so. Let me take a second to collect my thoughts.
sure, man.
Uh, hmm. Yeah, I just don't know where I'm going.
It's
Really,
okay.
really, it's just when that happens, I just know that what I needed to say was said at those moments.
Perfect.
You know,
That's awesome, man.
sometimes I sit back and listen to myself talk after I've already talked to be like,
Hmm.
dang, where did I come up with that? Where did I
Right.
say that at? Where did that come from
It
at?
almost feels like it was someone else speaking through you, right?
Yeah, it almost
Yep.
does. But it could be, it could not be.
Yeah.
It could be I'm so understand what I'm doing that I'm on autopilot.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize how well you trained your body until you sit back and listen to your body sometimes.
When it's neat too, like my understanding, something that became really apparent to me this year through experiences where we're comprised of many aspects, right? And the aspects come in to handle what it is, whatever it is that you want to experience, and that's kind of their part. And I kind of see it like the kids movie, it was Inside Out, right? Where, they had like fear and anger
Yeah.
and joy
Yeah,
and
Inside
love,
Out.
really similar to that. I mean, that movie nailed it, you know.
Yeah. It did real good. I haven't seen any. I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember seeing that one, and I do. I like the emotions are they are they each emotion has its own personality and
Oh yeah.
understanding, and each negative emotion and okay. So to me, all a demon is an emotion.
Yeah.
It's a negative emotion. They rule over an emotion. Some people give it names, some people don't give it names.
Yep.
But in generally, that once that emotion takes control over your body, you have decided to leave the driver's seat.
Yep.
And that emotion is going to do exactly what it's meant to do.
That it will.
And it's going to take you down this path that you may or may not want to go. uh, because that's what that emotion does. That's what emotion does. It
Oh
drives
yeah.
you.
Yep.
It's a driving force. Just like joy is a driving force, fear is a driving force.
Yep.
And and that's what I was saying earlier when I was saying, you want to control your emotions, and if you feel like somebody else is doing something to you, well then that person is controlling you at that moment,
Yep.
because then you're acting on what they're doing, and even though what they're doing may be righteous,
Yeah.
but because you're in your emotions, you don't see that.
Yep.
You don't see it at all, and you're blind to it. You're not even driving your car because only one person can drive your vehicle at one time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's not multiple drivers in your car. It's either you or you're allowing somebody else to do
Yeah,
it.
you have a lot of people in the seats, right? Seats are full, but only one person can drive,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
only one person can drive.
Yep.
And it's only you can make yourself happy, and only you can make yourself sad.
Yep.
And and really that's the key to life, is mastering your emotions. And it's way hard for some people.
Hmm.
But that's their choice to have those. They can do that. They can they can do that. It's just you got to learn to work around them,
Oh yeah.
and not let them suck you into it, because emotions are very magnetic. And if you're around it long enough, you're going to have that one thought that's going to turn into those four thoughts.
Yep.
It's going to turn into those 16 thoughts. And then you've been up half the night trying to understand why this person never answered back your text.
And that's
And
what I find amazing, man. So not only is that person learning, but by, sharing that negativity, the others that pick it up, there's lessons in it for them too, like exactly what you're describing now, man.
yeah, it is. And I love it. I love learning. It's,
The human experience, right?
it is. It is a human experience.
Yeah.
And it's not going to last long. You're not going to be here long.
Yeah. It's just a
You're
blip compared to eternity.
Yeah, but that's hard to fathom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Especially when
hard.
we're here and we're in the thick of it and we're just like,
Yeah,
oh God,
yeah.
why am I here? Why did I choose this?
Why did I choose this?
Yeah.
Why? If I chose this life, why the fuck did I choose this life?
Yep.
I'm not about to be the spokesperson for this.
Right.
I'm not trying to step up and do this. It's just, and it's crazy because that's what it is until you really start questioning.
Yeah.
You really start questioning it, and I can't wait. I can't wait till everybody starts waking up, and that's gonna happen. That started happening after 2012.
Oh yeah.
Like, the 2012 is when we ended the physical, and we started really soul searching into ourselves.
Yep.
See, the Mayan calendar was not even about the world ending. It was just about
Right.
us. The physical age ended, and now the spiritual introspect age is coming. And ever since then, you've seen all the movements, all the different movements start since 2012,
Oh yeah.
all the different things and the rights and everything. And it's getting crazy out there, but that's what happens at the end. It gets crazy before it gets better.
Yeah, it
And
does.
every year I find myself saying, "Dang, it's getting crazy out here.
Right.
It's getting more crazy than last year, and it's getting more crazy than last year." But it's the saying is, what, it's always darkest before dawn.
Oh yeah.
It's the stuff is wrapping up. I wanted to be here. I'm just here to observe.
Yep.
I'm just some. I'm not. I've done learned and lived all my lessons. I got those done early in my life.
Nice.
And now I live out in the middle of nowhere. I'm a full time music artist, and
There you
and
go,
I
man.
and I have a garden. I have my animals. I go to town once a month,
Hmm.
and I don't go anywhere. I stay here and I do my little thing, and I'm content with it. I don't feel the need to go out there and prove myself anymore.
Right.
And that's ultimate peace.
Yeah.
Once you find that you don't have a need to have to even prove yourself to anybody anymore. Uh,
It's
and that's
huge.
why everybody's like, "Bro, you fell off." I'm like, "No, I didn't fall off. I just chose not to have to deal with that stuff."
Right. It
And
became free.
it became free, and things happen for you when that happens.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to ask it to happen. It just happens. You wake up, you find out, oh, I need a new car. And then you're like, all right, I need a new car. That's a bummer. My old car is breaking on me.
Hmm.
And then 2 months later, somebody shows up with a vehicle for you.
Yep.
It's just like it's gonna happen, and you know it's gonna happen. When you get to a level of peace, things just happen.
And the
You
universe
don't.
always conspires in your favor too.
It
You know?
does. It does. But so does the DM. The DM always conspires in their player's favor.
Hmm.
They ask the player,
Yep.
what do you want in life? What do you want of this character? What do you want this character to learn in this? And then
Hmm.
it's my job to set up scenarios for that character to experience those things. And he don't know how it's going to happen
Yep.
because blessings never happen the way you think they're going to happen.
Right.
They're a sucker punch. Blessings always sucker punch you. It's the last thing you're thinking of.
Yep.
And and that's just what it's you're gonna realize this. You're gonna start realizing this. Dang, it never came the way that I thought it would come.
But
It
most of the time, it's so much better. You
it
know?
is. It
Always.
is. It's always better because you don't know how it's gonna happen.
Right.
And that's what makes it exciting.
And
And
that's why,
that's why we drop down into these bodies. Because we don't know what's gonna happen.
right.
And that's what makes it exciting.
And I think it's really cool, like you were saying before, with the out of body experiences. You popped out, you gained the knowledge and information that you needed, answered questions, learned a lot about things, but also want to just enjoy humaning at the same time. So I really respect you because some people will, that's all they want to do every day, but
Yeah.
you want to have the experience, you don't want to cheat. And, I definitely respect that, man.
Well, I feel like I'm building my own universe and I'm on the crew that's building this new one that everybody's going to jump over to. And
Right.
I'm just down here kind of testing out this one.
Yep.
And that's how I really see it. And that's how my games are so epic
Yep.
and my worlds are so in depth. Look, even divination, I mean, even divination, there,
Hmm.
that's the word. Okay. Even that can be done. It's you.
Yep.
You were doing it. I've sat there and came out with divination systems in the middle of a Dungeons and Dragons game out of my ass
Right.
and said, "All right, do this and do this and do this and do this," and then bam, I tell them exactly what's going to happen.
Yep.
It's just the way the cards fall. It is
Yeah,
divination is just we do divination and we can
we
use
do.
any objects to do divination because really it's us listen to our intuition and high pattern recognition of what's going on around us
Right.
and being really good at picking probabilities
Oh yeah.
and so divination happens because of your intention, but you can make divination out of anything.
Yep.
Even Christians have the whole let's open up the Bible and stick my finger on a spot
Right.
it read what it's going to say. This is what God wants to tell me right now.
Yep.
And that's the interfacing with us.
Yep.
And so everything, like I said, to me, everything is just performative. When I got into the Wicca stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I was in my coven was called the Amethyst Dragon,
Hmm.
right? And it was really cool. The priests were Reiki, I can't even say it. They're the Reiki masters.
Oh,
They're
Reiki
the one.
Master. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're really cool. And
Nice.
but what I was learning is something while I was learning that stuff, something was telling me you technically don't need any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Technically, you don't need it. You just think you need it.
Yep.
And what it is each piece of the ritual represents something else, so you technically don't forget that you need it in that ritual.
Right.
And so I did the Wiccan thing for a while. I became a priest in my own rights. I had my own
Hmm.
little thing. I did it for like 6 years or more.
Nice.
And, and then one day I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. Move on to the next one. And then that's
Yep.
when I moved on to the next one. And I have respect, mad respect for everybody that studies all these different religions and dedicates their
Oh
lives
yeah.
to them.
Yep.
Mad respect for them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them is right because nobody here is wrong.
Yep.
If you believe that being vegan is what's for you,
Then that's for you.
that's what's for you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But you're also living that vegan lifestyle and you're telling people why it's for you. And it's and that's because that's what you chose this time.
Yep.
What you don't know is the life before you were a carnivore,
Yeah, right.
or you were this and that. And everybody's all like, "Oh, we're supposed to have some special diet for our bodies." Well, we wouldn't have both intestines if we didn't have if we needed a special
Right,
diet.
right.
But regardless of that, that's your choice.
Yep.
That's your choice. And if that's what you want to make your life out of, that's what you decided you wanted to be in this life.
Yep.
And I respect you for that. I respect you. I respect people that do this. And it's just everything's here for us to experience some type of form because we get understanding from it.
We
You
do.
know, the vegan gets understanding from what they're doing. Uh, and then a priest gets understanding from what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And then the nun decides to dedicate her life to that. And then you got the monk up there in the Himalayan mountains doing his thing.
Right.
They're all right because there's no wrong.
This video game is awesome.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yep.
And even gods come down here. What we call gods in this game, they're just other souls and levels. In
Right.
order for them to reach higher levels, they have to come down here to get the experience.
Yep.
We're like the mini game inside of the game that gives you
Right.
the boost of experience that you need to get higher in the game.
Yep.
They got their own things. All these other life forms have evolved off of their planets,
Hmm.
but we've been those other life forms too.
We have.
We've been all those things. I have vivid memories of being a black lizard person,
Hmm.
like with black skin lizard person. I have
Yep.
memories of that.
Yeah.
In my existences, and I have memories of being all these other things. I have memories of being cat people.
Yep.
What? That's the biggest one that I have the memory the most of is
Interesting.
me living the cat person existence,
Hmm.
and like I vividly, and I know I can't see the things, but I can feel them.
Right.
But I vividly remember like sprinting over buildings and feeling the wind and feeling what I was feeling like in that instance.
Hmm.
And I know that's what I was because that's what I know that I was.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, you're a human. You don't have to look to know that you're a human. You
Yep.
just know that you're a human. When you're a cat, you know you're a cat.
Oh, yeah.
When you're any other animal, you know you're that animal.
Hmm.
Like a dog knows it's a dog. A bear knows it's a bear. They don't know that we call it a bear.
Right.
They don't know what their names are in that instance. They may have some telepathic communication where they could talk to each other and have names.
Yep.
Even prairie dogs are really interesting creatures. They have a full language they use,
Huh.
and they can even change their language and make up new words on the spot
Oh,
and
that's cool.
descriptions.
I didn't
And
know
they've done
that, man.
studies. Yeah, they've done studies to where they would take a board and run it across a field full of prairie dogs,
Hmm.
and then the prairie dogs would be speaking, and then they'll see that board that they've never seen before, and they'll come up with the word for it and let everybody else know. And
That's
then
cool.
then so they tested it with multiple things,
Hmm.
and then they compared them, and they realized that these one instances they literally make up words on the spot to describe what they're seeing to let everybody else know what's going on around. And
Man, that's cool.
it is. It's its own little world inside this world.
Right.
And and that's the experience that they want to have. If we want to come down and be one of those, we can be one of those.
Right.
Some people say it's a school, and then some people say it's a prison, but that's just your viewpoint on
It
things.
is. It's their
And that's the
reality.
experience that you lived, and you came up with those conclusions through that experience, and that's how you're able to explain it to people.
Yep.
You know, uh, but it's all the same thing. It's just different countries explain things differently. Different people explain things differently. There's not one person that's going to come down here and save everybody.
Right.
It's all these other people that are explaining to people, like those people that believe that this body is a prison would have never come to those conclusions if and able to hook all those other people to this existence if those other people didn't believe the same thing either.
Right.
And that's through their experiences. And then so that's the way that they decided that they wanted
Play the game.
to understand this game.
Yep.
And that's cool because there's goth people and they have their own thing. There's all these other people, they have their own thing, and so they see life their way, and it's their way to see it.
Yep.
And it's that's what's fun about it because like the Dungeons and Dragons thing. There's all these expansion books that have all these different classes, that have all these different new characters you could be, and all this different stuff, and
Hmm.
that's that's we want to play them all. I
That
want
we
to be
do.
all of them,
Right.
and then once I'm all of them, I want to be some crazy stuff,
Yep.
and we can do that. This if you want, and I don't want to sound like it's not that I don't want to sound like it. It's just back to that. I understand that that person doing that bad thing to that person, it's fucked up what's going on to that person, but and people could say, oh, you're just like they've they put themselves through it.
Yeah,
It
you don't have to support what they do, but at the same time you
right,
support them
exactly.
having their experience on both sides.
Right,
And that's
right.
awesome, man.
You got to
Yep.
because there's no judgment.
Right.
I can't judge you for doing that crazy thing. Was it crazy? Yes. Do I believe in this existence? You should have done that? No.
Right. But the thing
But
is, on top of that, we probably already played both sides ourselves, or some variation of it where we were the quote unquote good guy, we were the quote unquote
yeah,
bad guy, like you were
right. Because
saying
you get
before, we've
trophies
done it
for it,
all.
right?
Right.
You get trophies for it. I get trophies for killing all these people. Then I get my little trophy on my video game, just as much as I get trophies for saving all these people on my video
Right.
game. The video game wants you to experience both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
It's not how you get to the bosses. It's what you do to get to the bosses.
Yep.
And just like in Elden Ring, there's set bosses you're going to play,
Hmm.
but there's 170 different weapons that you can face those bosses with,
Yep.
and then there's all these different magic combinations, and so you can have 1,000 players, and all 1,000 players have a different character that they're playing the game for, but
Hmm.
the obstacle, the main subject, stays the same.
Yep.
We're all gonna face this. We're all gonna face this. We're all gonna face death.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're all gonna face some type of loss in our life. Which there's things that we're gonna face, and then there's obstacles you set up for yourself before you're incarnated that you're gonna have to face.
Yep.
You know, and that's a given, and that's what makes the game exciting. That's what makes life exciting. Life would be boring if we all knew that we came down here and we
Yeah.
could
Right.
just do and and it's happened before. And then the world ended. And then whatever happened, some people say it was Great Flood. Some
Hmm.
people speculate it was like crazy stuff. Like one theory is the world shifted because it got hit by asteroid, caused a lot of water to get shifted one way, which
Right.
froze. And then somewhere after so long, we had a spike in temperature that melted all the water and flooded the whole planet.
Man.
And that ended everything. And
Yeah.
then who would survived. But then they decided, hey, we're just not going to tell them that they can leave their bodies.
Yep.
We're gonna see how they can do this because the last time they did this, they didn't make it all the way.
Yeah.
Whatever the goal is here, which is exciting for everybody as humanity,
Hmm.
right? Is the end goal because none of us knows how it's going to end. We just
Right.
know that it's going to end, and I want to see how far we can go with it.
Right.
It's, but we don't know what happened in those other existences.
Right.
We don't know what happened there that caused them, and it's like erased. And all we got are some circles and some stars to try to figure out what it meant.
Right. What's cool now, though, it does seem like a lot of people are starting to get memories back, little bits and pieces, like you were just saying with, previous lives that uh, you tapped into or came back to you. Many are experiencing that right now. And even,
Yes, it's
you see many stories of little kids that are still, talk about being this other person. So, kind of, I'd like to
yeah,
add to what you were saying with 2012, where, it definitely seems like even though things have gotten a little crazier, you can see a huge shift happening. And it's really freaking exciting, man.
yeah, it is, and that's why I wanted to be here. Yeah, I want to
Yep.
experience, like literally all. I make a joke with my girlfriend and said the only reason why I came back to Earth was for Mexican food. You know, like after this is over with, I'm not going to be able to have no Mexican food.
Right.
I want to live. I want to live at least one more time with it. You know,
Yep.
I feel like I should have been born in Mexico. I love Mexican food. You know,
Yep.
that's the only thing that would ever bring me back. I feel.
Yep.
You
I
know,
get it.
because, but I don't. It's so much better out there. But dude, some people are addicted to playing the game. You know,
Yep.
some people want to experience the game, and some people, but and there's so many other universes to go chill in.
That there
You
are.
know, like there's countless amount of universe. This universe that we see is not the only
Not
universe.
at all.
If there's countless universes, which means there's countless experiments, which means some of them we don't have any hands.
Yep.
So some of them we have opposable thumbs. Some of them we float. You know, and it's every world and universe has its own existence with its own laws and its own rules. And we're creators.
Yep.
And that's why we create in these bodies. And we feel depressed if we don't create.
That's
And
true,
when
man.
and when you're bored, that means your body wants to create.
Yep.
And that's just something that we do naturally, whether it be cooking in the kitchen, gardening, writing books,
Hmm.
trying to figure out how to build a new internet system. You know, it's all sorts of stuff that we want to create. And 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 I think as we go on, it's about to be more custom. It just
Yeah.
seems like our lives are getting to a point where it's not about tribes as much as it's about you can completely tailor make your whole existence.
Yeah.
Like I can get on the internet and make my own clothing line and be the only person in the world wearing the clothes that I'm wearing.
Yep.
I can now we're going to be able to make our own movies and people can make their own music
Yep.
and we could just literally get up and say I want this type of music today on this playlist and it's just going to pump out random stuff and you just tell it I like to hear this stuff and I like to hear stuff like this.
Hmm.
And then but guess what? That's what we do outside of the body.
Right.
We already do that. It's we're being gods here.
Yep.
We already if we're outside the body, we just go, you know what? Make up some music for me. Let me go. Just give me a theme song for a
Yep.
suspense. You know, because I'm about to sneak into this level of heaven right here that no one wants me to be in, and steal this ancient artifact. You know, for my alliance over
Yep.
here. And that's what it's cool because they win because the more faith they have and the more people that believe in their existence, the more powerful that those people on that level get.
Yep.
And so, and then they get to try to take over and conquer other levels. And they're doing their own thing, just like we're doing down here. They're fighting with each other as much as we fight with each other.
Right.
You know, and it's because that's what the game is about. Their game is to I need to get as many souls for my team
Yep.
and then you got us. We're trying to. What do? We try to win souls. We try to win people over into our viewpoint.
Yep.
This is exactly
It's
what
the
gods
same
are
thing,
doing to
man.
us,
Yep.
but we're just doing it down here. And then they're getting all the the little juice, right? They're getting the juice
Yep.
to boost themselves up, and they become more powerful the more juice they have, and then they get to do their thing. And then you got all the planes in the middle.
Hmm.
You know, it's there's planes. So the plane I was on where they were making stuff.
Hmm.
That's what a lot of people would call Eden.
Okay. That
And,
makes sense.
but that's the level of existence where they like have system access.
Hmm.
It can manipulate things
Right.
on other planes.
Yep.
And you gotta be a certain vibration to be able to get to that level,
For
you know,
sure.
because that's its own that's its own learning in its own thing.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just like would you go into a system and you start crafting your own stuff? Yeah, that's its whole other game. There's people that play games that just go in there and craft stuff.
Yep.
And that's what's cool about it. So every realm outside of this one, there's only like 12 with this one. So there's
Hmm.
like 13, right?
Yep.
And that's what makes the whole 13 seals thing that I'm doing really fucking solid. Because once you can unlock all the seals, you mastered this whole world.
Well,
And
man, definitely let me know when that stuff drops. It sounds very interesting.
yeah, I've been working on it. It's getting closer and closer. I'm already on my like second or third draft of the book
Nice.
of the book. It's uniquely written. It's it's written Bible style.
Okay. Huh.
So it's broke up into chapters and verses, and it's coming from the viewpoint of an archivist, somebody that was just kind of watching what's going on through this reality. And
Right.
so the stories can get personal, but it's generally told from the viewpoint of a history person
Right.
that's
Okay.
explaining what's going on and what's going on with this stuff, and then it's going to have detailed scenes
Hmm.
of so there's people that's throughout the book,
Yep.
it's really Bible-esque
Okay.
when it comes to like telling a story over a broad period of time. It's also like, do you read?
Uh, I read a lot, but usually it's audiobooks just because I'm
Yeah. Oh,
moving
yeah,
around
yeah.
a lot.
Audiobooks
So
is reading.
I kind of cheat my
It's
way into
today's
it.
reading.
Yeah.
No, today's reading is audiobooks.
Yep.
We're all busy people. We don't have time to sit down. We don't
Right.
have candlelight anymore. We got all this stuff that's going on,
Yep.
So I have no problem with audiobooks. But there's a book series by Steven Erickson, and he writes a book called the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, and it's an epic high fantasy, but it's the same concept. It's written over tens of thousands of years and
Okay.
different instances, but all of it go
Interesting.
together to understand the whole spectrum of what happened. And it was the birth of a god, and kind of like all the different pieces that brought that god into power and all the fall of all the other gods. It didn't take place over 3 years. It takes place over
Yeah.
thousands of
Longs.
years.
Nice.
So every as the book series goes through, you just kind of get pieces from this time and you get
Yep.
pieces from that time to kind of like really they're more like key points that they focus in, and this situation happened for this to happen in the future type stuff.
That sounds like
So
an awesome book series, man. Thank you. I'm definitely going to check that one out. I
yeah, it's really
noted it down
good.
when you said it. So,
Yeah, it's really good. It drops you right in the middle of something, and
okay.
that's the only thing people have that ever talk bad about it
Hmm.
is it's really confusing right at the beginning
Right.
because it don't hold your hand into it. It just
Right. You're
drops you
just
in the
boom,
middle
you're
of a
there.
conflict like you were picked up a book and started in the middle of it.
Okay.
So
Huh.
but it makes sense once it gets going.
Right. Well,
But
cool,
it's a
man.
really good book. It's good. It changes your introspect a lot. But I just I'm molding my books off of those like
Nice.
formats,
Yep.
and I want I'm all about completion, so it's definitely going to have a completion. I
Cool.
do not like not having completion and
Who
stuff.
does, man? Come on.
But yeah, I just want to make sure it's all done and all nice, and I'm going to have most of it written before I even start releasing the first of it, so that way I'm not no
It's
Robert
done and
Jordan. I
ready.
love Robert Jordan, but I just feel bad. I'm so happy he wrote the ending to his book before he started writing the beginning because
Yep.
he didn't make it. He died before he finished the book series,
Oh, man.
and so they
But the
hired
end was already
somebody,
done.
but the end was already done. He
Nice.
wrote the ending before he even wrote the beginning.
That's wild.
And like he already has some type of premonition that was going to happen.
Yep.
And the way he was saying is he knew how he wanted it to end,
Hmm.
and then he was just enjoying the journey from the beginning, trying to
Yep.
figure out how it's going to fit all together for the ending he wanted.
That's pretty
Which
cool,
is,
man.
yeah, it's really dope. And they had to hire somebody. They hired Brandon Sanderson to kind of fill in the last two or three books
Hmm.
to connect them, and he did a
Nice.
really good job.
Good.
It's just I wish it was Robert Jordan,
Right.
but we all do, right?
At
Everybody
least
has
he had
somebody
his
like
ending,
that.
though, you know?
Yeah, yeah. At least he had his ending,
Right.
and it did it right, and I'm happy with that. I got too invested though. That was my issue.
Ah.
I read like the first seven books,
Yep.
and then I was just too invested. I had to read all of them.
I get that,
You
man.
know.
Well, listen, this is a fun conversation. I really enjoyed this a ton. It was wonderful
Yeah, me
having you
too.
on here. we're kind of getting near the end of our time here. So I'd like to ask, is there any way that people can get in contact with you if they're interested in doing so?
Yeah, Conman Kitty. This is the guy. Look up Conman. I'm everywhere. I'm
Nice.
already all over the internet. So you if you need to get a hold of me, you literally can go anywhere on the internet and look up Conman Kitty. I'm pretty much the only Conman Kitty on the internet. Uh, so you can find me at and on TikTok, Facebook, wherever. I really don't mess with Facebook that much or Instagram. I
Yep,
only access those from my computer. I don't actually
I
have
get it.
that stuff on my phone. The only thing I have on my phone is TikTok. So if you really want to get a hold of me, you'll find me on TikTok. But I got YouTube. It's Command Kitty. Just look it up. You'll see it. All my stuff will start popping up everywhere. Uh, I would be dropping podcasts soon. Also,
Nice.
I've been ever since I got through with that out of body experience. Something's been driving me to
It's
get
your
those
time to
podcasts.
talk.
Yeah, it is. That's pretty much what it was. It's just like, all right, that shit is real. All that stuff that you put your blind faith into all these years
Yep,
checks out. So now I know. So now it's time for me to start saying stuff.
there you go. It's
So soon,
share it with
soon
the
here
world
we're
now.
gonna have podcasts out. I've already recorded 3 episodes, and I'm just kind of like getting 6 of them together before I start dropping them out. So
Nice.
soon they'll be able to find those. It's gonna be called Conversations, but with
Nice.
a capital CON
Right.
for Con Man.
Well, man, listen, thank you again. This was a lot of fun this evening. To the listeners, I wanted to thank everyone for being here. If you feel so called to, definitely appreciate, like and subscribe and look forward to doing this again. Thank you.